Let's go.
A stranger saw me crying in my car today, tapped my window and just handed me a coffee. No words, just kindness. I don't even know who they were. They just smiled, handed me a warm coffee and walked away before I could even thank them. Faith in humanity, restored. I once had something like this happen. I was sitting in Walmart parking lot after dark crying. I wasn't being loud, but I'd been there for quite a while, and the gentleman and daughter that were parked nose to nose with me apparently noticed. I heard a little, "Excuse me." I looked over and this girl, no more than probably 9 or 10, handed me 3 little Baby Bell cheeses, gave me a sad little smile, and went back to her car. I came down with food poisoning at a baseball game. After I felt well enough to leave the first aid area, I sat down and cried. A kind older lady gave me a package of Kleenex. Sometimes it feels good to be seen. Kindness is a gift. Remember the happiness it made you feel and pass it on to someone else if you see them on the streets. Sometimes we overthink a situation, when it just doesn't hurt to care and be kind. Hope you're feeling better. Is this gross, or am I overreacting? I found pictures on my significant other's computer in which he had used undress AI filters to alter my female family members' pictures from dresses and/or workout clothes to nude. This includes my mother, my sister, and my cousins. I am grossed out because he said it's not sexual but that he's experimenting with AI. However, if this was so innocent, I don't understand why was it being done in secret in the middle of the night, and why not use strangers' photos or his own photos? This is indeed very, very gross. I'd do so far as to say it is sickening and quite disturbing. That's some wildly creepy and incredibly disrespectful shit to do. Experimenting with AI, my ass. Yeah, he's experimenting with it, trying to find ways to make naked photos of his girlfriend's various family members to jerk off to. This is creepy and not the least bit normal behavior. I say that as a 27M who'd honestly not only never considered doing some shit like this, but it'd never even pop in my head in the first place as an idea for me to consider. Also, if any of your female family members are minors and he's doing this to underage girls' photos, that's a very big deal of a crime. You're underreacting. This is some very serious, messed up, creepy shit. Nor, he's lying it's 100% sexual. Ask yourself, did he use the filter on anyone who is a minor? Why did he use the filter on only women in your family and not men if it was not sexual? You need to break up with him right now. Not only is jerking off to AI images of your closest family members, which destroys your trust in him, but he also doubled down and lied to your face about it. How could you ever trust him again at this point? He did this 100% to himself. It's people like that who put hidden cameras in bathrooms in hopes of seeing people they know in exposed positions for their own gratification. You should even check your entire home and make sure there are no hidden cameras. If it's so innocent and he was just experimenting, then he should have no problem with you telling all your family members what he's been doing with their pictures. Here's what I've come to understand about women. They are so damn shrewd when it comes to the intentions of others and also people's energies. But once they discover something nefarious about their significant other, they act like they don't have these senses, toss them in the garbage, lie to themselves, spiral into denial and believe all the dumb shit lies that their men tell them just so that they don't have to deal with the pain of living with the truth. You're severely underreacting. I find it hard to believe anyone could be this naive. Am I overreacting? Relationship. Hi. A few days ago, I had gotten a gut feeling that my BF of 2 years had been cheating on me with this one girl. I followed her on Instagram 2 days ago that she went to a coffee shop on a date. I again got that same gut feeling, BC, as of lately my BF has been having an interesting into going trying different coffee shops. I ignore the feeling and continue my day. Today my BF tells me he's getting a ride to campus from his friend BC. His bike is in the shop. Okay, cool. He calls me during my break to chat and then says, "Oh, I have to go, my friend finished filling up his gas tank." We say goodbye and carry on. A few hours go by, we're texting, and he calls me saying him and his friend found a dog on the side of the road and that he's going to take care of it until he finds the owner. I mentioned that I'll post it on Facebook to help and he says no, that his friend will do it BC, he lives in the area. Again, the same weird gut feeling. I go onto Instagram and the girl posted a story. I click on it and it's the dog saying that she found it on the side of the road and if anybody recognized it. I immediately text my BF asking me why he lied to me, saying that it was a guy friend and whatnot. He proceeds to call me weird for starting the argument. Am I overreacting for accusing him that something is going on? Sorry, I rarely post on here, but I have nobody to talk to about this and it's killing me inside. Leave! Why lie about something so simple? And for him to get defensive when confronted is a no. No. OP. I left a minute after I posted this BC. I did the mistake of asking the girl to let me know what was going on, and she replied with, IDK, who are IDK, how you found me, but you're irrelevant, and that's my man. LOL. Nope. My gut has never let me down. You listened and look what you found. What you do with that information is up to you, but I feel like you know what to do. OP. My hands are shaking, but I know I'll be okay and that my gut was right. Comments. Yeah, he's cheating or about to cheat. OOP. Just found out from her that he was cheating. Comments. I just read that. What an idiot. I'm sorry you're going through this. Sexy and afraid. I just read that. What an idiot. I'm sorry you're going through this. Oop. Thank you. I really needed this laugh. Sexy and afraid. Of course. Winterfront. OMG. So he's seeing her. I'd message her back. Well, he is your man now, as I don't want no skank-riddled loser. But FYI, we were together for 2 years. Sucks to be the side piece. Congrats on the promotion to main chick, though. Enjoy. Oopie. Yeah, she's staying with him, she said. Thanks for all of this information, I guess. But he's my man. Winterfront. Wow, she's desperate. I'm embarrassed for her. She obviously knew about you. Has he said anything to you now? You know he's been cheating? Oopie. Nope, I tried texting him but I'm blocked and she told me that all he said to her was that he was using me and that she appreciated the information I passed on to her. OP. I just want to say thank you to everybody who commented. Means a lot to me. I did break up with him and she did confirm that they are together and that that's her man, LOL. Thank you guys for making me feel better. Am I overreacting? Recently my wife and I have been having a hard time. Very distant, no intimacy, no connection for a while. She's a teacher, and about a month or so ago she said that all the teachers were going out to a happy hour, so obviously she went. When she got home she was drunk and jumped on top of me on the couch and proceeded to tell me about the music teacher and how cool this guy was, and she said he was so cool about 15 times in 30 seconds. Told me how she ended up just talking to him the whole night and he was buying her drinks the whole time. I was extremely uncomfortable with this, but of course, I'm crazy. She started wearing thongs to school every day. I had asked her to wear thongs and she told me she hated them. They were so uncomfortable and she didn't want something up her ass all day. Now she's wearing them daily to school. She never told me this guy's name and would refer to him as this person when I expressed how uncomfortable with this I was. The distance between us continued to grow and grow. The teachers had another happy hour. This time she came home again pissed drunk but reeked of men's cologne. Again, I was told that I was crazy. I have never gone through her phone once throughout our entire relationship. The other day I couldn't take it anymore. She gave me the phone to place my order for our meal prep and I looked at her text. Sure enough, there were her texts to this guy. Turns out her and him have lunch every day together, just the two of them. Worst part was that she was deleting all the previous texts. When I confronted her about it, she said nothing's going on and they're friends. Am I crazy? Regardless, I'm not okay with this, and as my wife I would think she would respect that, but she just does it behind my back. Am I overreacting? I had a similar thing happen to me in my marriage. It started with ramped up drinking all of a sudden. She would drink while I'm asleep at night, stay up until 6 a.m., then have to go to work at 3 p.m. Would constantly talk about this guy she worked with, how he had a rough time, etc., etc. I suggested couples therapy, asked about the excessive drinking. Nothing. Then one night she's passed out and that guy kept calling, so I went to answer it. He hung up, then sent her a text like I wouldn't see it. Went through all the messages. Nothing salacious, but kissy emojis, what are you doing, my husband is asleep, etc. I tried to make it work, but eventually I called a divorce attorney. The attorney says she uses a Pi, so I said no problem. Gave her the location and the Pi found Get at the guy's apartment when she said she was going to a friend's house. I started the divorce process, and the following week the PI caught her checking into a hotel with that guy. I got everything in the divorce because we were still married when she checked into the hotel. You have all the signs I should have seen earlier. Yours was drunk and right, she was sharing her great evening but gave away a lot of info. I know it's painful, but get out. Contact an attorney. Hopefully you took pictures of those messages, but your attorney can get those deleted messages from your provider. If you need any help of what info you start grabbing, let me know. Good luck. It's going to be rough and painful going forward. There is no turning back from here, unfortunately. Once they start looking elsewhere, it's over. This is cheating behavior. I think you should confront her, sit her down, and simply ask if she's cheating. It might give her an opportunity to be honest with you finally. If she says no or calls you crazy again, ask her to explain her behavior. Why would she wear thongs to work if she wasn't cheating? Makes no sense. At this point, I would just ask her if she wants to end things either between you two or her and the guy, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. She'll end things with the guy. It sounds like she's checked out of your relationship. I'm sorry, man. She's not worth it if this is how she's treating you anyways. You can find someone better. I'd think about therapy counseling maybe, if you feel like you need some more direction with how hard this might be. But yeah, I wouldn't tolerate this if I were you. Okay, man, you're not overreacting, but I wouldn't say it's time to get a divorce or anything like that. Sit down with her and have a mature conversation. First, she's got to come clean. If she's flirting with her coworker and it hasn't gotten physical, I would say it's forgivable. If she had sex with him or even kissed, then disregard the rest of this comment. Second, y'all need to figure out where the connection went and why there's no intimacy. Is it on her part, your part, or equal? Maybe y'all need to spice things up. Women need attention and they need sex just like men. If you're not giving that to her, she's going to find it somewhere else. This whole situation could be fixed with a good dicking down and some masculine energy. Good luck. TW Domestic. My husband held my daughter by the back of her neck and pinned her to the bed. AIO? IDK, what to think? I feel blindsided by his rage, but I've seen him angry before and he's never done anything like this. I've told him countless times that he can be mean and scary. I have a tendency to yell too, but I have come a long way in my anger by working with a therapist. I was out of town this weekend for work. When I got home, my daughter, 8, told me that the worst part of her weekend was when her father held her by the back of the neck and pinned her to the bed while screaming at her. I was horrified, truly disgusted by his behavior. Am I overreacting for wanting to kick him out? I have no idea what to do. I feel alone, scared, furious. It's painful to talk about still to this day, but when I was a child, maybe 4 or 5 years old, I didn't want to say my prayers before bed. My father screamed at and hit me so hard I can still remember being held by my mother in the bathroom as I cried hysterically. I'm 48. This kind of thing is core memory making. I wish my mother would have divorced my father because there were many more outbursts and rage beatings I endured. All this to say, you need to get away from him before he destroys your daughter's self-worth. He already ruined their relationship. My second earliest memory is similar. I was almost 4 years old and had the flu. My mom gave me medicine, put me to bed, and told me to wake her if I woke up and still felt poorly. When I went to wake her, I, unfortunately, woke my dad. He dragged me out of the room and beat me until I peed myself. What I still vividly remember are 2 things: trying my best to scream for help, but I was so scared that no sound could come out, and my mom finding us. I remember how hard she sobbed while clutching me to her. The beatings continued until I was a young teen. You're so right. Absolutely core memory making for Op's daughter. I'm 38 now, and I haven't spoken to my POS dad in almost 2 decades. I only have self-worth as a result of years of therapy. OP, save your daughter. You're the only one who can. OP. He waited until you weren't around and then physically abused her. The likelihood of ending up dead at the hands of someone who puts their hand around your neck is exponential. Leave. I just want to say that it's completely okay that you feel the way you do. Alone, scared, and furious. Sometimes these decisions can be difficult because of just how massive that feeling of bewilderment and fear can be. I want to make sure you know that, because I was there. I was so scared to leave my ex-husband because of the unknown and the upheaval of everything I knew, everything I worked towards, and everything I built my entire life and future around. But you will be okay. You will come out on the other side and be better for it. You and your daughter will. Both of you get somewhere safe before he comes back from his work trip. Have a strong support system behind you, and it's great that you already have a therapist. That will be a huge help. You might consider getting one for your daughter as well. I have 4 sons, and my husband has barely raised his voice to them, and that's boys never laid a hand on them. A tiny 8-year-old girl home with a rage man. How terrifying. Thank God she even told you. Of course you don't stay with him. He is a horror. My pops kicked me one time, right in the ass. I was 8, no warning. I was heading outside and he says something about the dog and I get a kick. If my mom would have packed us up and out, so many future abuse would have been avoided and I could spend my therapy money on shoes. This happened with my son. I had a moment where I realized that this was the relationship that all my children patterned for themselves and would end up thinking this was normal. I left. I didn't look back. And I have no regrets. Nor get her away from him. When I was 5, I was picked up and thrown onto my bed from across the room by my dad because I didn't want to pick up the toys I was playing with and he was frustrated with me. That memory is still as vivid as the day it happened. I remember scream crying because I was so scared and my mom checking me over because she thought I was seriously injured because of the way I reacted. I generally wasn't a kid who cried a lot. He had never done anything like that before. She kicked him out immediately, and that was the best decision she could have made. I can't imagine ever being able to trust her or feel safe again if she hadn't done that. Nor my dad used to do similar to me. He would say, "I didn't choke you, my hands were above your throat. He is dead and I still jump and get nervous when someone yells or acts aggressive." Hey OP, not sure if you'll see this buried in the comments, but speaking as a childhood survivor of physical, emotional abuse by the hands of my mother's partners, take some time away from this person and consult with your resources support system. It sounds like you're already doing that with family and your therapist. Although this is a scenario you can brush off, chances are it will get progressively worse. It's possible this situation can be mended with counseling and visible progress on his end, but if this behavior continues, gets worse, it will scar both you and your daughter forever. I know it's scary and uncomfortable, but safety and stability is necessary. I wish you luck. I told a previous partner that if he ever raised a hand to me or my child in anger, it was over. Then he did. I stopped him. But I didn't end the relationship out of fear of financial insecurity. I have been regretting it every day for years. It irrevocably affected my relationship with her. I would give anything to go back and tell him to get out. I would put my daughter first. Be ye not so stupid. Edit for clarity. Nor underreacting. It's not about him, or you, or y'all's feelings. It's about what you teach your daughter it's okay for men to do to her. If a random man did that, would you expect her to cohabitate in the same house with him like nothing happened? Hell no, you'd encourage her to get away from him and call the police, so do the same here. She was assaulted, respond appropriately. My husband told me to get an abortion. AIO? I wrote a long paragraph about this just a few minutes ago, but I took it down after realizing how long it was. Basically, me and my husband got married fast, not even a year into dating. He was always sweet, affectionate, kind, and loving, and I loved that about him. Like 2 months before our wedding, he was working really hard to get a promotion, for us and our future family, which meant that I had to balance my full-time job and the rest of wedding planning all alone. But just weeks before the wedding, he learned that someone else got the promotion. After that, he blamed me for bothering him with all the wedding planning crap and ghosted me for 4 days, then came back as if nothing happened. I just assumed that he didn't actually mean it and was just stressed and eventually forgot about it with everything going on. Fast forward, we got married and he slowly started pulling away. An important detail is that I'm Christian and having a Christian husband was really important to me, and he seemed to be the perfect candidate, but after a few weeks of being married, he stopped praying with me. He stopped going to church with me and started acting cold. No affection except lovemaking. Later on, I only felt like a stress relief method. 4 months into our marriage, The shop I used to work at closed down, and on top of that, I learned that I was pregnant. After telling him, he shot back with, "Still not too late to terminate, you should look into that." And after a short back and forth and a few tears, he just went back to watching the TV. He made it clear that I'm alone in this because I chose to keep the baby despite being jobless and him not making enough money to support all of us. We stopped making love because, according to him, it's disgusting to do that with a pregnant woman, and we started sleeping in separate beds. He started going out with his coworkers more often, and I go to my prenatal appointments either alone or with my mom. I'm 5 months along now, and I'll probably be giving birth alone too. He ignores all my communication efforts, telling me that I'm too dramatic or that he's too tired. I don't think I want to give up on my marriage just yet, but I just want to know that I'm not overreacting. Edit. Thank you all for the kind, honest, and even rough comments. I have posted an update answering some of the questions and making a new plan to escape, so if you guys are interested, you can read it also. Thank you all again. Comments. Commented. I am a Christian too. I understand where your core beliefs come from. But your husband is not fulfilling his Christian role as a husband, future father. He may not have slept with someone else, that you know of, but he is abandoning you emotionally in this marriage. I would ask if he wants to do marriage counseling. If, when he says no, move out and start divorce proceedings. You usually can't get divorced while pregnant, most U.S. states, but you can start the separation phase. Put him on the birth certificate for child support purposes, but he does not have to be allowed in the delivery, and don't let him if he is not 100% supportive and on board. Commented. This situation really sucks. I'm so sorry you are having to deal with it. I hope you have somewhere you can go for a while. Your mom's? While you prepare for baby. Oop. Thank you. I'm glad to have a fellow Christian's opinion on this. I've tried offering therapy, even meetings with our local priest, but he refused. He has no interest whatsoever in being in the delivery room with me. After reading all the supportive comments, I've decided that I will talk to my mom about everything tomorrow and ask her for help. Commented. When he ghosted you for 4 days, that should have been your clue as to how immature he is, and you should have left. Commented. When he referred to y'all's wedding planning as crap, that was another opportunity to leave. Why stay married to someone who is clearly showing you the type of person he is? How old are y'all? Commented. You fell into the same trap I did with my ex-husband. We started dating and it seemed like we were meant to be together. We had so much in common and were the best of friends. We were very socioeconomically compatible, physically very compatible. It seemed like we had everything going for us. We moved in together 2 months after we started dating and got married 9 months after our first date. Bought a beautiful house, got 2 dogs, the stuff of dreams. Imagine my surprise when he completely changed after we got married. His father was a real asshole. The father treated the mother horribly, and his favorite thing to say was, "I want what I want when I want it, and I don't give a shit about anyone else." He wouldn't take her out to dinner, not even for her birthday, because, why should I spend good money at a restaurant when you cook me a better meal here at home? Money was no object. He was just a jerk. She'd make a big, beautiful dinner for Christmas Eve, and it was going to be ready at 6 p.m., but he had to drive 45 minutes away to pick up another gun he bought himself as a Christmas present to add to the 300 he had already. So he'd show up around 7 o'clock to 7:30. My husband and I were there, and we started dinner without him, but he just had to not be a normal, decent person. She felt like she had no voice, and she developed a condition where her throat would actually close up. So, my husband and I got married, and he starts treating me like his father treated his mother. And he expected me to swallow it like she did. I told him not just no, but fuck no. We were in counseling 6 months after we got married. I found out 2 things. One was that oftentimes one or both people in a couple will mimic their parents' marriage, and many people don't show their true selves until 2-3 years after you are with them. My husband and I are divorced, good riddance. He never was committed to trying therapy. He was committed to convincing the therapist that I needed to change, which the therapist found laughable. Something else, though. My husband treated his mother very kindly, but wanted to treat me shitty like the father treated her. And finally, something else interesting. I had a female friend. We met a couple of years ago in a professional setting, and started being friends because we shared a great love of music and a strong commitment to our political beliefs, and we are the minority where we live. We had a lot of fun over the last couple of years, and then she got really mean to me. I have degenerative spine disease, and my back can spasm really badly enough to make me double over, and she'd snap at me, "Stand up straight." Then, we were at an art festival where I had walked for several hours and my back started to spasm again, and we were ready to leave, and one of the artists said he'd get a golf cart to take me to the car, and as I'm saying, "Thank you," she says, "She doesn't need it, she can walk." She had done and said some bitchy things before this that I was pretty fed up with, and this was the straw that broke the camel's back. I haven't been friends with her since. So it's not just romantic relationships. A lot of people can hide who they are for a long time. In talking to a therapist, 3 years seems to be about the longest they can fake it. So, live and learn. Your husband is truly a jerk and now you know. He's not going to change. This is who he is. You can try therapy and maybe it will work, but I doubt he'll even go. Cut your losses and live your best life without him. Good luck to you. Update. So, first of all, thank you all for the kind and even rough comments. I've read every single one and it really opened my eyes. I guess I just needed to hear it from as many people as possible before doing the inevitable. I can't sleep with everything going on in my head, so I'm writing this instead. It didn't take much convincing for me to call my mom and tell her everything that's been happening. We both cried our eyes out. She, of course, offered to help, offered me a place to stay. My parents are financially pretty well off, so she assured me that we will not be a burden. I will slowly start moving my things while my husband is out or at work, but I want to make sure to have consulted a lawyer and made a solid plan before leaving. I realized that my marriage can't be saved after all, no matter how much I want to save it. I will be contacting a lawyer and possibly discussing my options for an annulment, as many of you suggested. I will also speak to his mother and show her proof of how he treats me, texts, voicemails, etc., shortly before leaving for good, to answer some questions. I'm 26 and my husband is 31. We rushed into marriage because first, it's really common in my community. Second, I'm nearing 30, and sadly, I got pulled into that 30 panic, afraid to stay alone, which blinded me. And third, we waited for marriage to have intimacy, so he proposed only a few months in. Now, I see that it was a huge mistake, and I was naive for believing that this was a good idea. I used to work at a local florist, but the shop closed down due to the owner being old and wanting to retire. She had multiple health issues and couldn't keep up, financially nor physically. I live in a small town where it's really hard to find a decent job, but I'm actively looking. My husband works in a nearby city, about 45 minutes away, and his salary is not a lot, but enough to live off of comfortably. Yes, I am Christian Catholic, and yes, I've tried offering couples therapy or even meetings with the priest, but my husband always refused, either saying that he's tired, has to work, or simply that it's a waste of time. I did have one-on-one conversations with a kind local priest when I didn't know who else to turn to, and he seemed concerned, also telling me, like many of you, that God will definitely not be mad if I leave. In fact, this is his way of trying to set me free, but I was too scared to accept it back then. I will be signing up for our women's support group in church. Our church community is very kind and understanding, so I'm hoping to get some empathy and help to recover emotionally and keep my baby and I safe. I saw multiple people asking if I really want my baby to grow up with a man like that, and that's when I realized, no, I don't. I'd rather raise her alone but loved than with this example of marriage. Many were confused on why I didn't leave my husband before the wedding after he pulled that 4-day ghosting stunt, and that is because our relationship was really beautiful up to that point. We didn't fight, ever, which I now realize was a red flag too. He seemed like the man of my dreams, and I didn't think he would keep acting this way because it didn't add up to the man I thought I knew. Now I know that it was all a big lie, and the man I thought I knew is either gone or never even existed in the first place. Thank you for the help again, and if something major happens, I will update. Comments. Commented one. I am so happy that you found the strength to give your child and yourself a better life. You both deserve much better. Never let anyone, not even yourself, shame you for leaving him or being a single mom. You are doing what is best for you and your child. Feel loved and hugged by this internet stranger. Commented 2. I know things are so hard, but you have given you and your unborn child the best chance for a life of peace and happiness. Staying with your husband would have been a mistake because he clearly does not share your values, though he pretended he did. Wishing you all the best during this time of change.